Reservoir Dogs, the breakout debut of Quentin Tarantino. From its tense standoffs to its themes of trust and betrayal, the DNA of City on Fire can be felt throughout Tarantino's film. We'll be talking about the similarities, the differences, and whether City on Fire stands on its own as a gripping crime story or if it's forever destined to live in the shadow of the movie it inspired. So load up, pick your side, and remember, in this line of work, trust is always the first thing to burn. This is First Last Podcast. The Originals Month continues with City on Fire. I'm so sorry, Tom.
Oh, no worries. Hey,
can you tell I didn't practice worth a damn?
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
somebody said to fly by the seat of your pants, right?
Yeah. So I am Emel, and Tom joins me here on our little thing that we call our show. I'm going to get to
Hmm.
the bill paying first here. You can always find us at firstlastnerdom.com. You can all close second, really the first is First Last Nerdum on YouTube, where you can see all of our wonderful, wonderful shows. We have three main series: First Last Pod that we're doing now, Binge Worthy, as well as Flipping the Pages, and those are all on the rack, so to speak, for you to look at. And I think Tom is heading it up and charging on the social medias with your Reddit or something or other.
Yeah, I'm on First Last Nerdum on Reddit. Initially, Reddit mods filter blocked my post for the sun, and but it popped up, so now it's on there. So, yeah, it's very interesting to see what Reddit does with various posts. But if you see us on Reddit, that means I got past the filters, and hopefully you enjoy our content from here. But yeah, Reddit and also on X under First Last Nerdum. If you want to know the latest and greatest video of ours, I usually post it there within a day or so of it being posted, if not that day. So if you want to see what our latest videos are, check that out. And I have to say that I wasn't able to really find a subreddit or a good place to advertise our last big originals, Save the Green Planet, but it's close nearing 100 views, so which is pretty good for us.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very good. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I too have taken to you, and I have created a Reddit account for now. We'll see how long it goes, but I'm only going to try to sincerely. I'm not going to try to make anybody mad or do anything because
Mhm.
I get in trouble really quick. So I'm just going to try to keep posting things and try to follow Tom and Shadow and reinforce where I can. Because
Mhm.
we despite our issues with Reddit, sometimes we get some traction there, and there's something
Mhm.
there. So I would love to push through and find a good community that we have rapport with. I know that ElfQuest was very positive toward us,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
and which we love to see. I also there's obviously some South Korean, Korean movie fans, cinema fans, so which we love, and I too am also available on X. At Sophie King Jewish underscore, a man astride a donkey turned the wrong way. What the hell that means? Well, it's the internet, so it could mean anything. We're just getting to this, and shame on me. Ling Lee Ungdun is the director for this. Typically, it's spelled Ringo Lam, but he is very prolific, um, just like Chow Yun-Fat is as well. These movies, when they make them hot, heavy, and fast. And I'll kind of pull back because Tom, I usually pivot to you to kind of fill in the sketch in the color and the details for these things. And I know you have a massive love of Hong Kong cinema as well as others.
Yeah, yeah. There's a British show. I should probably recheck the name real quick, but basically it was hosted by this guy, and he did a lot of um, weird cinema. He focused on that show, and that's where I was first introduced to Jackie Chan, Troy Hark, and Hong Kong cinema, and it was so alive and kinetic that I just had to see those. So I started my best way of finding it. I found like some. Bootleg VHSs that were made off of them. So that was my initial introduction. Which today we've graduated to Shout Factory having their Hong Kong line of 4Ks, which I just got a few months back. City on Fire, which filled in a lot of gaps for. As far as the behind the makings of it, and Ringo Lam and Chow Yun-Fat, how they got introduced to each other. There's a great audio commentary and a lot of great little extras with some great authors like Grady Hendrix. He did a little history, as well as Kim Newman kind of talked about the whole Reservoir Dogs and City on Fire controversy, so to speak, which we'll touch on a little later. But yeah, just to kind of set the stage, Ringo Lam started off as an actor, and he decided that wasn't really his bag. That he wanted to be more of a behind the scenes guy. So he got started into production, and then he decided that I think he did a few comedies, and then he went to Canada to film school to expand his craft, and he never did finish because Troy Hark called him and said, "Hey, I really want you to come direct for me. I got to deal with Cinema City. Come on back. We really need you here." And so he did come back, and he started doing comedies again, which he really didn't enjoy. But finally, one of the guys at Cinema City said, "Hey, I got this money. Make the movie that you want. Do whatever you want. Do what you want." And he really wanted to do a crime movie, much in the vein of French Connection. And so he had this writer, Tommy Sham, who kind of told him about this recent heist at this watch store, and he got into like watching the TV footage of it. And I think he actually went to the court to kind of look at these guys and realized that movies kind of glamorize these guys. These guys were just in his opinion, losers. They didn't look the part. They, they, could barely read, some of them, and he wanted to portray that in a movie. Just kind of show them for what they are, kind of a slice of life, gritty kind of crime scene, and that's where. And he pulled in Chow Yun-Fat, which he knew from his acting days, and which they acted in TV series and whatnot. And Chow Yun-Fat was making a push for being a film actor, and he really didn't get any big traction until his big hit, which is A Better Tomorrow, which was coming out about the time City on Fire was being made. So he wasn't Chow Yun-Fat yet; he was just Chow Yun-Fat. So after A Better Tomorrow, once that came out and blew up his career, obviously that kind of set the stage for City on Fire. But yeah, so and I'd always heard about the movie, obviously in relationship with Quentin Tarantino,
Right.
but it was one of those movies where I couldn't find a good copy of it, so I didn't even see it until the 4K. So it's one of those that I always meant to watch and wanted to get to at one point, but never the desire to get it. And having the money or having access to it didn't quite line up throughout my years. But I finally got to see it recently with this new 4K. But what is your history with the movie?
Virtually none. Virtually none. I came into understanding it from you when you picked it, and not I had no idea that it was. I've since learned this as I have got kind of grown to become more of a Tarantino fan. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I had heard about this 2 years ago. I'd never did. I mean, I'm sure I had heard about City on Fire, but I just read it in passing, like if after the fact, I've seen Reservoir Dogs and whatnot. So I had not. I mean, I've seen Chow Yun-Fat, and to kind of put it into perspective on him, and Hong Kong in 1987. He is prolific. Doesn't even begin to describe him, especially that was a very pretty big year for him.
Hmm.
Chow Yun-Fat, that is, he made 11 films in one calendar year. 11. That's like
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis has made 6 films in the last 25 years. This dude, and this is also indicative of other Asian actors and directors. Anyway, I say this, I'll just say that I was blown away by this film. It is not a one-to-one. It's more like Quentin Tarantino takes portions of Reservoir of from this movie and kind of elongates them to be the movie, like essentially, like for that. And I love it. It also is. It's a completely different animal. I mean, there are some similarities there, like where you have this inverse world of like where the cops are supposed to be the honorable ones and whatever. They didn't really get too much into that. It's more of like it's just kind of in the background as a thing. But
Hmm.
like, holy shit, that guy gets arrested a lot. But
Yeah.
of course, he's undercover. Is I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but no, I had no connective history with this aside from just enjoying it and reading it occasionally and coming up and like being like, oh, maybe I'll see that someday.
Hmm.
Well, that day arrived with this pointed look at it. But I'll throw it back to you because like I mean I have a little bit of history. Like I'm not going to claim kung fu movies at all, but like I've
Hmm.
seen a couple here or there, but like never paid attention to you know who this was outside of Jet Li
Hmm.
or Jackie Chan, and of course those guys do different things. But anyway, I have a deep love of Jet Li, and at some point I'm sure we'll get to see one of my most favorite sci-fi movies with him. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
I've yammered on long enough. I'd love to throw it back to you and see where we stand or where you want to go to get into it, because there's just so many cool things that we can pull from, and this movie is just, oh my god, I love the normally like like you kind of you would take a kind of a pretentious stance, I guess. It's for like American action films and running and gunning and stuff like that. And I gotta
Hmm.
say, I was happy with the how shootouts went. Like maybe they're not all winners. Okay, but but they're competently executed enough for me to give a shit and to stay in and to root for the guys. Like, or don't jump out there. Like I had a lot of those, like where these guys just jumping into bullets. I'm joking a little bit, but anyway, I'll throw it back to you. What do you say, Tom?
Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, it's basically about an undercover cop, and the as far as Reservoir Dogs, yeah, it's sort of like Quentin kind of took like the last 15 minutes of the movie and made that the first part of his
Right,
movie.
right.
So we will probably get into maybe not real thick spoilers, but probably we'll get into spoilers with this. So with both City on Fire and Reservoir Dogs. So if you haven't seen either of those and want to remain completely spoiler free, you might want to step away. But we'll try to be as sensitive as we can about it because we don't we assume that maybe someone's hadn't seen this and it's our kind of job to kind of sell it to you. So in selling it, we don't want to spoil everything
Right.
and give away everything. But the fact that we're going to be talking about both movies, there may be some spoilers. But yeah, it's about this undercover cop that's kind of going through it. Is He's wanting to get revenge for one of his partners in the police force being killed. He wants to land into this heist team and find the killer. And but yeah, but along the way, everybody's human. You start talking to even the people that you're trying to arrest. There is this human connection that can be formed, and much like Reservoir Dogs, the movie kind of centers around that relationship that's made between the cop and the bad guy, and how humans kind of always kind of connect at some point, and performed beautifully by Chow Yun-Fat. I mean, the guy is a living embodiment of charisma. He's just
Oh
a
yeah.
spectacle to watch, and yeah, like Mike said, he was doing like a ton of
I
movies at
mean,
one time, and actually probably he said the at times he was filming three during a day. He'd be shooting one in the morning, something different in the afternoon, and something different at night. So he knew how fleeting success can be. So when he did strike fire with a better tomorrow, he knew he needed to take full advantage of it. Plus,
yeah.
there's that specter of it was made in 1987 and 1997. Hong Kong was going to go back to China controlled. So there's that kind of feeling of of not knowing what to expect. A lot of Hong Kong residents were getting properties in Vancouver, because Vancouver kind of reminded them of Hong Kong, but colder. But but yeah, so there was all this kind of either rush to get out, or not knowing what's going to happen in the future, and this movie kind of embodies that kind of sense of you know I could do this, I could do that. Which is best? There's this internal struggle between almost every one of these characters that are kind of struggling with the what decisions they can make, and is the decision kind of taken away from them. He has this girlfriend that he wants to marry, but he also is married to his job as an undercover cop, and yeah, whichever decision he makes, he's going to disappoint somebody, and there was that sense of uncertainty during the time of this movie. So you can't kind of discount that from how the audience reacted to it, especially in Hong Kong. That they even if it was kind of subconscious, they kind of picked up on that. There's a lot of probably stuff that we miss because we're not from Hong Kong during the 80s, so there might be some subtleties there that could only kind of briefly touch upon, but was deeply felt by people who watched this movie at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and you had already mentioned John Woo, and Better Tomorrow, and
Hmm.
The Killer and Hard Boiled, which we absolutely will probably have to do a Hong Kong cinema or Asian cinema at some point, because it's just so prolific. I mean, there's just so much to cover. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, this was fun to watch. And I enjoy this because it's just different. It's a completely
Hmm.
different load. It's a different
Yeah.
storytelling. You do probably lose a little bit of the cultural kind of things, but
Hmm.
I mean, and the other thing too is like they did some long takes.
Hmm.
And the fact
Uh-huh.
that they could do such long takes in such a short span of time, because you got to remember, like Tom was saying, like Chow, he's over here doing this in the morning, and then over here on the other part of the day, and that same thing for directors. That they keep rolling, they got to keep going, but
Hmm.
the from the first part of the movie, like where you kind of get in there, and he's kind of a cool guy, at least like he's getting he gets in where he wants to, where he needs to, or he wants to go, and he doesn't really get controlled, and he does get pushed around, but there's a consequence to that too. But it's a give and a take thing, like that. There is that unique thing, like where he is sitting talking to the girl at the first part of the movie, and he's
Hmm.
where's this other girl, it's like, and she's trying to play, oh, I don't care, hard to get. She does care.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
there is a back and forth, and like a baiting, and a puzzle that goes on too. I won't go into it too much because it there, but it does have logic, and it is fast paced, and it does take a minute to get into, but that's mainly just because it's not English right in front of your face. I was able to find
Right.
a good version, but I had to go find the subtitle. So
There you go. Yeah, yeah. It's you made me think of back in the day when I was getting these shady VHSs with questionable subtitles and what didn't always subtitle everything, and yeah, yeah, that was always kind of rough going. Selling the pirate seas, I guess you would say. But anyway, yeah, this movie is raw. It's in your face. There's a sense of reality, especially like you said with the relationship between the Chow Yun-Fat character and his girlfriend, fiance. There's a sense of reality to that. There's especially like in the apartment they're at. It's not like a Hollywood style apartment that is way beyond the person's means to own.
Right.
This is it looks lived in, and their interaction looks lived in. It looks like they've been together for a while. They know their ins and outs, and they could have fun, playful nature with themselves. There's one scene where it's Ringo said just ad lib, and it's kind of a fun little scene between them. A lot of it was kind of ad libbed, so it gives you that a little bit of a reality to it. Also, at the time, you couldn't get a permit to shoot in the streets. So all of those, most of those action scenes were permitted. So what would happen is they would be shooting a street scene, but at any time, if the cops showed up, you knew what to grab to take off, so you don't get arrested for shooting like that. And there's like a airport scene that's done during the day, and that wasn't permitted. If you're going to film a movie at the airport, they would actually shut down the airport at night so that it's so close to residential area, for them to be able to sleep at night. They wouldn't do flights at night so that you could shoot at night. But it's clearly during the day when they were shooting, so they either they got permission or they kind of did that on the fly as well. So that sense of guerrilla filmmaking really gives kind of even though you don't know that's what it is. There's that kinetic energy with Chow Yun-Fat and the actors in it, and just a frenetic pace to it. It's not really an action movie that does have a lot of cool action set pieces, but the movie's more of a drama. Much like Reservoir Dogs, with kind of splashes of action, kind of over the top action, that really kind of makes it stand alone. A Bear Tomorrow came out first, and that blew up Chow Yun-Fat's career, blew up John Woo. It was John Woo, and unfortunately this movie came second. So he's Ringo Lam was always living in the shadow of John Woo, and it may be one of the kind of commentary videos that I watched. They were talking about how Ringo Lam, you chose your Western name, and it's kind of telling that he picked Ringo of all people to have that name tied to him. It shows you that kind of his estimate of himself. Maybe he didn't shoot for the stars. He didn't go with John. He went with Ringo, and that's a little bit telling. But I think it's humbling. But also I think he knows what he wants to do, and this is a very competent movie. There's
This was very gritty, like compared to like John Woo's like more operatic, larger aspirational things, which he absolutely does justice to. But they're like they kind of complement each other in a way, not with any connective tissue, just from the standpoint of how Ringo he gets in there and you're on the ground floor of the film, building as it builds around the Gore Chow, like the cop, But anyway, I interrupted your point. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add that one of one guy, I forget the name of him and who he was, but he gave a little bit of advice to Ringo Lam as being a director. He said you kind of have to be a mad dog, in the sense that on the set, you no one can kind of predict what you're going to do, and that you kind of have to run it as a mad dog, and that's sort of that energy that he kind of creates with this movie. Actors said that he's not truly happy until you're kind of going through it, kind of in pain on the movie set. That he really puts you through the paces, because he's going through the paces. He's really giving his blood, sweat, and tears for this movie, and he wants the actors and everybody else to do that. So he kind of ramps himself up. To kind of bring that to you, and that's sort of the energy of this kind of movie is sort of fly by the seat of your pants. Even in the dramatic scenes, there's this tension to it that Chow Yun-Fat's always sweating, probably because he's running all from here to there, to everywhere. But
or smoking, yeah,
yeah, absolutely, or dancing. There's that one scene where he's.
I don't. It's been a very, very long time since I've had the desire to go buy a pack of cigarettes and smoke. I used to be a smoker long back in the day. I mean, cigarettes. And every time he would light up, it would be like, boy, I'm glad that I don't. But if this would absolutely would have caused me to go, just to be cool. So of course that was cool. But anyway,
right? Yeah. In the commentary, there's this. Hong Kong guy that was there at the time, and he said that Chow Yun-Fat was just cool, and that Chow Yun-Fat actually wears a scarf during the movie, that little blue scarf. He said that he had to go out and buy a blue scarf like Chow Yun-Fat, so evidently he did influence styles.
Yeah, he's very kinetic in how he acts, and he I don't know how he does it, but he somehow, when you're going a crazy action scene and stuff's going on and the chase is happening or something like that, he's got either something in his mouth or something on his wrists or some. Right. I mean, the guy is such a physical actor. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we talked about these two actors before, Chow Yun-Fat and Danny Lee, in another great movie by John Woo, which is The Killer. We covered that, and we have them back on this movie. This is their, I think, their first acting together. But Danny Lee is usually plays a cop. That's his bag. That's what they did in The Killer. Chow Yun-Fat was the bad guy, and Danny Lee was the cop, and that's sort of what they were going to do with this movie. But Ringo Lam kind of, what he said to Tommy Sham, who was the writer of this, he said that to really create something new, so, to really kind of step out of your boundaries, you kind of have to mix things up, and that's why he finally decided, no, let's Danny Lee be the bad guy and Chow Yun-Fat be the cop. See what kind of magic kind of happens between them two if they do that. And it's almost like, but it kind of works in this movie because Chow Yun-Fat as the cop is sort of like the kind of reckless one that he's the one that's really kind of stepping out and doing some crazy things, whereas Danny Lee, he sort of kind of pulls that cop energy of being that calm force. I think that's what makes them work so well as a kind of a pairing of. It's not really a buddy movie, but it sort of is, because he's got Chow has that kinetic energy where he's just kind of being all out there, and Danny Lee has that kind of calming effect. He's just there, He's sort of like that solid ground for Chow to kind of go crazy with.
Well, Fu is he's not a cartoon villain. He is not a screaming psychopath. Frankly, he's not really particularly violent. He's calm. He's professional. He's got a code, and more importantly, he understands that he has a kind of a sense of humor, and I like that. And that comes through in the movie because they're slice of life kind of rumbling and tumbling through this thing, and they're
Mm-hmm.
here at the police station, and they're not here. Not Fu, but
Mm-hmm.
but Gore, but Chow is, and he anyway. He does play it, and he does play it with like, and I did catch this because I did watch through a few scenes more than once, to
Mm-hmm.
kind of get the nuance, because it's kind of missing, if you don't catch it.
Mm-hmm.
He does he plays it, but he knows that, like, he's got a his line of work is dangerous, and he knows that it's probably not going to last all that long. you're,
Right.
you're not hitting AARP ages,
Yeah.
in other words.
Right. There's an expiration date, and it's
But
probably coming up within
right.
in months, or not in years.
Yeah, or in the heist, in a heist movie, there's always the last big, not in this one, but
Mm-hmm.
in these, in American ones, like there's always like that one last one, or they're gonna pull away, or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
some such. But he knows that, and you see that it comes through, and not in an
Mm-hmm.
obvious, like,
Right.
exposition way. It's in his nuance, and how
Mm-hmm.
he approaches things.
Yeah, yeah. There's like this kind of pressure boilerplate of this tension, like you were saying, that there is an expiration date, because there was an expiration date. 1997's when
Well,
Hong Kong reverts back,
right.
and yeah,
Oh, that too.
there's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah
that
there's
too.
that tension there, that kind of permeates through that movie, where everybody kind of seems to be living on borrowed time, and any decision they make might be their last, or
Yeah.
it's not, they're going for, they're trying to do their best, but maybe forces are out of control that they can control.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's a professional, and he knows how to do things, certain kind of criminal things, very well. so
Yeah,
because
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, and I don't
and
want. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, with Danny Lee, Fu, and Chow Yun-Fat, they kind of have a really good chemistry, and there's like sort of those montage scenes where like they're flirting with the girls and stuff. There's this, if it's not ad libbed, it's acted perfectly, and yeah, there's a scene in the club where Danny takes his scarf and actually puts it on himself, and that's sort of like saying, "Hey, you're one of us. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours." And there's those little subtle cues there that really kind of shows you them bonding without being explicit about it. And then there's also the little scene with the letter that really kind of deepens their characters and their understanding of each other. And if I think that this movie benefits from that. This is more about the characters and getting kind of to know them, to know that some of them are losers, but they're trying to do their best. It's all kind of gritty and real, and in your face. They're not cool. They're just interesting to watch. Whereas, say, Reservoir Dogs, it's all about being cool and having the cool names, and there's that big discussion on whether or not who has the coolest name, and
Right.
yeah, it's all about being cool. And this movie is more about being real, and being not that Reservoir Dog doesn't get real at certain points, but yeah, this one's much more focused on that. It's not about being cool. Like if you see that scene where Chow Yun-Fat's dancing, like, you can tell that even though Chow Yun-Fat's cool, he's not trying to be cool.
Yeah, yeah. In the action sequences here, I'm just kind of playing a little bit. I was trying to find the one, like, where they're just goofing, they're just cheesing
uh,
with the girls or whatever, trying to get their attention, and
uh,
it's awesome, because you see that, and that's one of the things that made me fall in love with it, again and again, because you see that, and then you get, so, like I said, I wouldn't say that some of the scenes are, I wouldn't say schlocky, but they're definitely, they're dated, I guess, maybe would be a
mhm.
more negative way to say it directly, but still. And then you have, like, the scene. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to kind of show, like, where, how they get all these angles, and the right mix of these. And this is, like, this is in on the fly, so, like, however he's
Yeah.
doing this, he's thinking and setting it out, laying it out as he goes, probably the
Hmm.
few hours before. But it goes through, so kind of just go in and, but I mean, they just go, I
Yeah.
mean, holy shit. I mean, I'm gonna stop there because we'll get copyrighted, but like
Mhm.
just kind of scenes like that are amazing.
Mhm.
They go on, and you don't think they're also. It's kind of hard to pause, you know,
Mhm.
like when they start in on it. Go away. Sorry, I was just showing that while we were talking here. But anyway, I'll throw it back to
Mhm.
you. I just wanted to kind of throw that, but there is a they're damn good actors, and they play off each other very well. In the
Mhm.
first part, you're kind of getting to know him, Chow's character as a cop. He's a cop. Is he a loose cannon? Is he centered? This kind
Mhm.
of thrown at you all at once. And I'll stop there because this is moderate. Like Tom said, I want to respect the spoilers here.
Yeah, yeah, and there's also we've been focused on Fu and Chao's relationship, but Chao also has a relationship with Inspector Lau, Uncle Kung, which played by Sun Yu. He's really good too.
Right.
He's kind of like the kind of father figure to Chow, and they have a relationship. The inspector, he's worried. Anytime you send your guys out into the field, they could die, and he's dealing with another inspector that's sort of like the villain in the thing. This other cop guy that's only looking for advancement. He doesn't care about his fellow cops. He's just looking to get ahead. So there's some scenes that kind of show you how far he'll go, so that you're like, oh man, this guy's a scumbag. But the inspector over Chow is very very human. Is very worried about his guys and just what's the best. But he's putting them in danger every time he sends them out, and
Right.
even though he's so he has that personal struggle between what's best for the job and what's best for the person doing the job. And but yeah, that plays out really well in this movie and gives you that extra tension that you need.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say too. The kind of one of the things that I love, that I appreciated in this too, is the world building, the just the appreciation of the atmosphere and how they filmed it. And Jimmy Leon, he was the cinematographer, and thanks to him, you see, they use natural lighting when they could, and whether or if it was darker, you got the grit
Hmm.
of the street lamps. You got the atmosphere of Hong Kong that
Hmm.
isn't pretty. It's not clean cut. It's in transition. It's just fumes. There's cigarette smoke, humidity.
Hmm.
You get a good feel. And the other thing too is they, like you had said, like whether it didn't matter who the main actor is, or of the scene. They do tight close-ups. It's like it's there. It's uncomfortable. It's put the camera's pushed in their face to kind of see that they're stressed,
Hmm.
and we're in the
Sweating
middle
and
of something.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
exactly.
We're clearly in the middle of something, and something's afoot, and you can't. I felt like I was there all along the way. Like it
Yeah.
was a little. The pacing was. It wasn't oppressive at all, but it does hard. It's hard to make it pause. So if you do pause, pick a spot. Like if there is a
Hmm.
lull moment there, and there's a little bit of dialogue where they have some exposition. Of course, lost on me because it's in another language, Cantonese. But
Hmm.
some of it kind of comes through, like other than just kind of like you're in a police station and they're all kind of talking about who's going to do it, and if they should call the setting up for the very final mission, or the final kind of thing. And all these guys are all, these cops are all, well, we can do it ourselves. And there's like,
Hmm.
not if somebody, not if somebody gets hurt, we're not. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll call the special team in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's sort of like a lilt to their dialogue that I always enjoy. It's like
It is.
I
It
watched a
is.
lot of Hong Kong movies. Yeah, that everybody usually gets connected to Asian cinema through Japanese cinema, but my first impressions of Asian cinema was Hong Kong, and seeing all these great Hong Kong movies, and yeah, there's like that lilt to it. And so listening to them talk in this movie kind of brought back memories of tracking down that VHS of that movie I needed to see, and watching it. But yeah, like I said, there's that kinetic energy. Yeah, they're kind of, like I said, it was guerrilla filmmaking. They were getting the shots, getting out of there. There wasn't those David Fincher 100 take scenes. No, you had to get in there and get it, and Chow Yun-Fat, he's making 3 movies at a time. He don't got time to kind of jerk around. He's got to get in and out. But yeah, the energy of the movie just kind of comes through, and it's an hour and 45-minute movie, but man, it goes by fast. You're going through it. Even like sometimes with an action movie, this is more of a drama than an action movie. Those dramatic scenes, are usually kind of slowed the movie down, but in this movie it doesn't. It just kind of amps up the stakes and kind of raises them. So, and then when the action hits, there's a couple of foot chases with Chow Yun-Fat that are really really engaging. Yeah, very much so. And like I said, Ringo Lam was influenced. This movie was definitely influenced by the French Connection. That's sort of like the thing that he was kind of going for. And I saw where there's like this Indian movie that were about these heist people that have an undercover cop in it that sort of inspired this movie. So maybe it's not the originals of the original, but yeah, it just kind of shows you that every iterations, or even if the movie's inspired by inspires someone else to do something, that movie in and of itself isn't created in a vacuum. It's being inspired by something else as well. So it's kind of interesting when you get really into the cinema and start seeing all the connective tissues. I've always been kind of fascinated with that, but since we've been doing it, Mike, this channel, and I've been kind of doing more and more research while we do these different movies, it's really kind of fun to see the connective tissue from this that to whichever,
Yeah. I actually did want to kind of circle back because we didn't really spend time. We spent a lot of time on their friendship, but his girlfriend, and this is kind of the first part of the movie, like where it's you're the audience member, that he's a cop of some kind, but he is obviously living in this life that causes him to lie, and you can tell that he's reaching the end, reaching that point. That tension on his personal life comes through, adding on more on the pressure. Like, how much more could this guy even be? Like how much more could or should happen? When that hit. Sorry. We had a bad storm, and it was going on. I have to kind of pay attention. Anyway, fortunately, the lights haven't gone out, so I guess we're doing fine. But
that's good. Yeah,
yeah. But anyway, I was going to say too, versus like Reservoir Dogs. In some ways, Reservoir Dogs isn't a complete movie, and what I mean by that is that it's not like this, where there is a plot, a story, and then that. I'm not saying that Reservoir Dogs isn't a movie. Of course, it's a movie, but it's just. Right. When you think of a traditional movie, like where you have a plot, you have this journey for our hero, or maybe he's not our hero, or this character, and where he lands and what happens to him and what happens to the people around him. That is this movie. That movie is kind of like Reservoir Dogs is like very, very truncated, and it's to the point, and it's very cool, and it's innovative, and it's splashy, and it's got tension dialed up just with the dialogue, when you think that the dialogue is just going to be something about something stupid and throwaway. No. That's how Quentin Tarantino, he nails it with the exposition perfectly. But whereas like this actually has the full range of emotions, and they do, even though it's a kind of a tight movie, it still it breathes enough for you to kind of sweat when you see him go through. And he really wants to. He just wants to move on, and he can't. And that causes that. And he's caught. He can't. Even though other things in his life are indicating, hey, you should probably find something else to do. These reminders keep coming up and hitting him in the face over and over
Mm-hmm.
again, but he just
And,
can't. He's caught because he is.
mm-hmm.
He does have a moral core in his center, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop there. But I'll throw it back to Tom and see if there's another point
Yeah.
we should focus in on. Or
No, I think you did good on it. It kind of goes back to that having all these decisions to make, huge decisions to make, and not knowing what's the best. There's like what the heart wants, what the loyalty wants, what in there are odds within him, and he can't. If he makes a decision, whatever decision he makes, he's going to hurt somebody, including himself, in the decision making, and not his life is it's so segmented, that no one can really understand exactly what he's going through, and that creates a really interesting tension for this movie. I was going to say that it's written by Tommy Sham, and there's an interesting little interview with him on the 4K where he talks about how screenwriters in America and Japan they're highly they're talked about quite highly. I guess that's his Asian name, Sei Shing Shum, but he I guess his Western name is Tommy Sham, but yeah, he talks about how in China the screenwriter is not really looked upon very highly. They're just kind of there to create the story, and while it's being filmed, the director changes things, the actors changes things. There's no loyalty to the script. So he doesn't do screenwriting full time. I think just because you don't really get paid too much for it, and also you don't get respect. And it's kind of sad because at the end of it, he's 70 in his 70s, and he said, if I lived in America, I might have had a better life, as a screenwriter, because I guess he sees how people are, writers are treated better. With more respect, and but yeah, this he has no this movie is really good, and it's I'm sure due to his writing as well. He did collaborate with Ringo Lam on it, but yeah, and like I said, it gets changed on the fly throughout. But yeah, he's and then that's another thing about these Asian filmmakers. There's a humbleness to them that I'm always kind of remark upon, because it's quite remarkable. A lot of times with with American movies, everybody's patting each other on the back of what great job they did, and there's this big love fest going on between all of them. But there's a realness and a humbleness when you listen to an interview with them. Unfortunately, Ringo Lam's since passed away, and there's not any interviews with him on this, but his presence felt throughout all the interviews and in the movie as well. But I will say, for Western audiences, I think the biggest push for finding out who this Ringo Lam is, and the movie City on Fire, was due to the big controversy between Reservoir Dogs and City on Fire. Just to give a little back history on that, it was Empire Magazine in 1993 when Reservoir Dogs was coming out and Quentin Tarantino was kind of blowing up. It wasn't the main article, but there was like a little sidebar where they pointed out that Reservoir Dogs is very much reminiscent of, of City on Fire, and maybe there was there's speculation that it was kind of tongue in cheek of Reservoir Dogs sold all this stuff from City on Fire, and then other magazines at the time kind of picked it up. Empire was a UK magazine, and but Film Threat, shout out to Chris Gore. He's we like him on this channel, but his magazine Film Threat picked up that story and kind of ran with it as well, and I think that's where I first learned about the similarities and first learned about City on Fire and saying, "Oh, that sounds like a movie I want to see." And I gotta say, there's this energy with music where, especially with punk bands, the people that find it first, they're like, "Oh yeah, I love this stuff," and but then when they become very popular and everybody loves them, then those original people kind of turn on that band. It's like, they're a little too commercial for me. Which I think there's probably that energy with Quentin Tarantino at the time when you first find him. It's like, oh yeah, you gotta watch these movies, and then he's kind of blowing up, and then you could go then point to, oh well, City on Fire. If you're a real true cinema fan, you would like that instead. But that's very, very. At the end of the day, it's very childish, and you kind of. Hopefully you get past that and you appreciate both movies for what they are. Reservoir Dogs was made by a very young Quentin Tarantino who was kind of filling out his chops. It's definitely not his best movie. It does have some really good scenes in it, but I think if we're going to compare the two of them, I would say City on Fire is a much more refined movie in the sense that it tells the complete story,
Right.
and it earns, it earns its ending. You have that emotional impact. You fully feel that ending to it. Whereas I think with Reservoir Dogs, I've always, even before seeing City on Fire, always felt like the ending was never really truly earned on that movie. I kind of feel, my heart's in with City on Fire, whereas always with Reservoir Dogs, it doesn't always ring true to me. That ending just doesn't. There should have been something a little bit more invested in between the characters. In this movie, in City on Fire, it's more of a buddy kind of relationship with the two characters, where in Reservoir Dogs it's more like a father-son kind of feeling bond to it. That doesn't get completely earned with how it plays out at the end. But that obviously you bring what's in you to the table for a movie, so maybe it just doesn't work for me. I enjoy the movie, but yeah, like I said, there's just certain parts of the end that just doesn't quite work for me. But again, it could be a me thing.
Well, Tarantino borrowed certainly, and did his best. And he's a young Tarantino, and again, you're not going to find better exposition than Tarantino, even a young Tarantino. It's just superior. He does things titanically well, but other things I agree. Some things are not earned, but there's a lot of borrowing that goes on. Dare I say, stealing, in a good way. I don't mean that in a negative way about Tarantino, and he would know what I would mean by that. Well, actually, he'd probably be like, "You don't know shit," and tell me to go get him another drink or whatever. I'm just kidding, but I'm sure he's not like that, but. He also has a lot of people that tell them their opinion of things. and Tarantino, you are giving your opinion, not taking opinions. But unless you're an actor in his movie, but you're right. There is more of a father-son, familial, direction with Reservoir Dogs, whereas, Fu and Gore, they get together and they're more friends. They have their shared danger in drinking. Like whereas in Reservoir Dogs you have Mr. Orange and Mr. White, and they bond when Mr. White is the one he's protecting the Mr. Orange, and you have that father figure, to the cop kind of thing. But I don't think it's there for City on Fire as much like father son like that. It's more of like, if you want to stretch it, and this is a stretch, like maybe older brother, younger brother, maybe, but really it's more about two buds.
Yeah, peers seeing each other,
exactly.
despite their background or where they're coming from. They meet and they make a kind of a bond that kind of goes beyond what they are, and that it's kind of reaffirmed by the ending, with how it plays out. But yeah, that's as far as I'll go as far as the ending. And also, just to circle back to Quentin Tarantino a little bit more, I enjoyed what Kim Newman said about that in his little essay, video essay on it, on the extras, where he talks about how with Quentin Tarantino, he's sort of the way he writes and does his movies is he kind of pulls all sorts of different influences. He pulls from all of his influences. He'll throw a little bit of this, a little bit, a little bit of a crime movie, a little bit of a horror movie. He gets everything into the pot. But by the end of the day, all of his movies are within the Quentin Tarantino universe. They all kind of make sense within his world of his world creating. They all kind of take place in that. It's not really reality. It's Quentin's kind of hyper video reality, which is this movie isn't kind of like that. It's not that thing. It's trying to capture real life as opposed to creating this sort of a universe. It's kind of magical universe of kind of hyper reality. But yeah, and so tonally, it's quite different movies. They could both be appreciated. The fact that you maybe take the basic structure of or sort of the story structure or the story's key points at a certain point in the movie and then make a movie off of it, you're not really remaking the movie or stealing the movie. You're kind of taking that part that you wanted to expand upon and create a wholly different movie with it. Both can be appreciated for what they are. If you're liking one because you don't like the other one, or because one exists and this one, if you're getting into that, you're probably missing the point of both movies, and should probably take a back seat and put your personal opinion aside and kind of watch them for what they are.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they are very similar, but the way that Reservoir Dogs is presented and displayed is very innovative. You don't even see the action. I mean, the heist. Whereas, City on Fire, you do. Is it really necessary to see the heist? Maybe, obviously that was kind of like a very important question for Tarantino. And, you had mentioned the Empire magazine, in that he was quoted, and this has been quoted to death against him as much as for him, which is like he said, great artists steal. They don't do homages, which is true, and I would say that there is a difference between influence and like when you just straight out appropriate and just do a 1-to-1, and I think that I don't think that I think it's he's always been vocal about his influences. He wears them on his sleeve. He's and I think that comes from his love and appreciation and passion for not just storytelling but cinema. He talks all the time about when he grew up and who he was with and what movie he saw and how it set the tone and kind of just put this cool layer over all of this, because he got to genuinely. He's also a very good storyteller. Right. He's somebody that people will naturally gravitate toward at a party or any kind of anything. I have no doubt. But he didn't plagiarize City on Fire. He transformed it significantly from what it was for a 1987 cops and robbers, gritty, young actors and directors at the right place, right time, versus like this very refined. He took I think he shifted the emotional tone a little bit from City on Fire. There's a family that the guy's got, or he wants to have a family. He's got this burgeoning thing. He's a cop, but he's also this undercover cop. He's got all this stuff stacked. All this stuff's piling up, and he's got to go, and he's got to go now. That's why that it works so well. Whereas like that emotion, I think, was shifted over to be more complete. And I'm not spoiling anything with Reservoir Dogs. I will not say anything about City on Fire, but that emotional City on Fire has emotion top and bottom, left and right, no matter how you cut it. Now, how that strikes you or whatever, that kind of is up to you, but it does complicate things. I'll put that way. Whereas, kind of these things are saved and a little bit more packaged up completely differently. But they hit similarly, but it's also that's also kind of like if you're expecting a right hook and you get a left, a left uppercut, well, you're going to be on the ground. But both of
Hmm.
these films will knock you out in different ways. And you got to give it up to the original. I was amazed, and this is going to cause me to go off on my own. Not just occasionally, Tom or I will strike out on our own, and we'll kind of
Hmm.
go. Well, we just don't want to leave a certain kind of vibe sometimes because we touch on
Hmm.
a lot of these different things. And this is going to be one that it's going to open up a vein for me to really enjoy and get into these. Because also, this is also noir-ish. I
Hmm.
can, that's a kind of a stretch, but
There
it
is
has that
yeah,
thing.
it's kind of got that vibe to it, you
Yeah,
know.
it's
kind
probably
of.
a reverse noir, like well, I mean, the noir has something going wrong anyway. So
Yeah.
the other thing too is like I had
Hmm.
mentioned it too, and it is in this movie, which I forgot to say directly, which is just one more job. That's kind of
Yeah.
that is true in these heist movies, and heist movies themselves are it's a subgenre that I've love. One day I'll make or invent a reason for us to watch The Town, and maybe other heist movies. I don't know. We'll see. But I digress. Tom, this was a great pick, and I'm so glad you did. And again, we're going to respect the film because it is old, but you should go see it because
Yeah, definitely.
it is its
Yeah.
own movie.
Yeah,
So
and I
so
think
so.
Quentin Tarantino kind of learned a lesson from this, in that maybe he should probably obscure his references just a little bit more than
Just a little bit.
what
He
he
was
did.
on
Yeah, yeah,
shaky ground a little bit. I wouldn't say that
yeah, yeah,
his critics had him dead to rights, but
yeah,
they had him by the toe for sure.
yeah. And Shout Factory. I gave you the link for Groove, but
Oh yeah,
they've got the rights to a lot of these Hong Kong movies, and they've been putting them out in this Hong Kong series, which is awesome. Yeah, sometimes they run sales on Groove. They run sales all the time. So, if that's a little bit too much for you, you can wait a little bit. I think they could drop it down to like 250 or something like that, or $25. But yeah, it's a great pickup even at that price. I think I picked it up for
absolutely.
roughly about that. Great one to add to your collection. But I think the biggest takeaway is that despite all the controversy, what the end result was. City on Fire got pushed out there, and
Hmm.
Quentin Tarantino probably gave it the attention that it wouldn't have got otherwise. We'd be talking about this movie
Yep.
today if it wasn't for that controversy. Who knows? But yeah, it's a very good movie, and in fact, I was getting to this because Shout Factory has this line. I'd forgot about it being tied to Reservoir Dogs, so whenever I was watching it, when I got towards the end, I was like, "Hey, this seems familiar," and then I go, "Oh yeah, that's right." So it's also we didn't even say it's a Christmas movie, Christmas New
I was gonna
Year's
say
movie.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching it earlier. I was watching a couple parts earlier today, kind of cleaning up my notes and stuff. And I saw that I was on that one scene just where they're all sitting in the police station
Mhm.
after they beat the shit out of them, and then they're all just kind of chilling after they put the Christmas tree up. It was like, ah.
Yeah, and it's kind of a time capsule because the guy that kind of co-hosts the commentary track, which is well worth listening to. He was living in Hong Kong at the time, so he's part of the commentary is kind of reflecting on what it looked like then and what it looks like now. And he was talking about all the Christmas lights and the Christmas music during the heist, and that was kind of a lost time because back then they kind of went all out for Christmas, whereas China controlled Hong Kong is much less, very little Christmas celebration and lights. So yeah, it's sort of like a time capsule of a time that's no longer with us, which that big question mark of what was going to happen has already been answered, and yeah, there was sort of kind of a tumultuous time for cinema after 1997, but another little video essay talked about how maybe they're kind of getting around all the restrictions that are there today, to get back to some interesting cinema. Because creatives always try to find a way to make creative movies. So maybe we'll get to see some interesting things coming from Hong Kong in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. And kind of taking it back to the past on that point, I did want to say, John Woo and Ringo Lam are they're two hemispheres of Hong Kong cinema's brain. You got Woo's the dreamer, and you got Liam he's the insomniac. And Brothers City on Fire is what happens when you get that pace, but it's not overwhelming either. It's perfectly. I don't think it could go any faster or any. It's just very well paced, it's complete, and in and of itself, it is a standalone monster that deserves its own credit. So I'm so glad that Tarantino did. And the other thing too is the other thing I do love about Tarantino is he does wear his influences on his sleeves, and if he's into something or something, he does something that I think a lot more people need to do in Hollywood. And some of them do this the fake praise or whatever, I've never seen an interview or read or listened or thing where Tarantino was disingenuous whatsoever. And it comes through, and you know that because of the quality of film that they produce. And invariably, the beautiful thing that I love about Tarantino is that it's probably a gateway to cinema, and how movies are made and what your favorites are and what era they came out of and all this thing. And just like you had said, Tom, to kind of really bring it home, this is a time capsule. And although it's not quite one-to-one, there are things that you recognize and see, like when the plane takes off or whatever, and you see this massive Marlboro billboard, like kind of often, that it's so big. It's so big you can see it in the distance. It's hilarious, and it's just another time. You're right, and I love it. And I'm looking forward to finding more of these.
Yep, and this is just the first movie in Ringo Lam's On Fire series. Like his next ones was Prison on Fire 1 and 2. I've got the box set of that, so hopefully we'll cover that in the future. But yeah, I'm kind of whetted my appetite for more Ringo Lam. I definitely want to see more of his stuff. John Woo's the more flashy kind of in your face, gun fu kind of guy. But yeah, I'm much more. I'm willing to kind of dig in with Ringo Lam and explore his stuff. I've seen a lot of Hong Kong movies, but there's so many more that I haven't seen. It's kind of a good time to be a cinephile these days.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And just to be a completist, Chow Yun-Fat did 11 films in one calendar year, and that was Better Tomorrow 2, An Autumn's Tale, City on Fire, Prison on Fire, You Shall Not Commit Adultery, Romance, Book and Sword, The Happy Bigamist, Tragic Hero, Women, Easy Money, and The Eighth Happiness. So now you have trivia. Should you do it? So now, some of those were minor, some were major, but that sheer volume suggests strongly that he probably wasn't sleeping. And I might add, his quality did not go down. I'll be able to confirm that as I walk my way through that list at some point. I'm a list guy. I like to stack up a bunch of lists and have them going. Some lists I have going are years, getting around to it, like a amateur cinephile. But anyway, Tom and I obviously love this one, and this is a very strong recommend and go see. And do you think we're coming up here on the end, or do you have any thing that you think we missed?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I will point out my new T-shirt. I got what looks like a black metal shirt, but it's actually for a podcast called the Regulation Podcast. They put this out. I think it's really cool. It does say "Eat the Pencil." If you're familiar with their podcast, you'll understand that. Otherwise, you'll be kind of confused. But they tried to dig a bean hole, and that's Jeff kind of collapsing with the shovel after trying to dig the hole. But yeah, it's kind of interesting shirt design. I missed out on getting it on the first run they did of it, but on the second run, I definitely I missed out on the second run, and this is the third run. So, and it's already sold out in my size. I had to get up early and make sure I get it. But yeah. So maybe one day when we get big enough to have T-shirts, maybe we could design something cool as well.
We're praying like hell. As I like to say, not an original thought at all, but yeah, we. Oh, I did want to say too. I think we did pick up a couple extra subscribers. So if you made it
Mm-hmm.
this far, we do want to thank you very much, and we're really looking forward to having more surface area with the fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily fans of our show, but fans of things that we all can appreciate together. That's the community that we want to
Yeah.
find out there, there's always somebody out there who knows something about something related to what you're doing, and
Yep.
it's a uh, beautiful flow of life. You just run into kind of similar-ish things that are happy,
Yeah.
and this is one of those.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate any comments that are left. We definitely read them all, and yeah, I've noticed that if I don't immediately promote our stuff, we still get views. So that's highly appreciated. So people do have us subscribed and do get notified that our stuff is out there because it's being watched. So
We
that's
appreciate it.
highly appreciated. We appreciate every one of you, and yeah, hopefully we'll continue to. Give you good content to watch.
Absolutely. And then Mike's gonna push the button right about